Are you back to work or are you on holiday now? For real, for real. It's the first day of Christmas, Ndu?
Yes, it is.
First day of Christmas. Okay.
12 days of Christmas. We finished celebrating them on the 25th.
Okay.
Then we continue.
So this is the day when you're given what? The porridge and
a partridge in a pear tree.
It's not porridge.
Do you want porridge?
Porridge, bro.
Porridge in a pear tree.
No, Baba.
Yeah.
Porridge was that health facility in Kilifi where you arrive.
And you're given porridge for breakfast.
Porridge, yes.
By your first love.
But,
By your true love.
By your true love.
So
now if somebody gives you porridge, the assumption is that is your true love. Around this time,
Yes.
they're trying to tell you something.
I have lifted my hands
You're done.
unto the hills.
From whence comes your help?
Yes.
Okay. It's also the second day of the Nairobi Festival. Yes?
Yep.
The second edition. So you're starting yesterday and going on up to Sunday. Yeah. It's also the first day of the Morans Golden Cup and Kajiado, bringing together the Morans to play football.
It's very good.
Senor?
Eric, tell us a bit about that. Who started that initiative?
It was started by a gentleman called Alex Musikeri. He's the current FKF chairman, Kajiado County.
It's very good.
And his friends who are enthusiastic in football. And they just said, all right, so we have several leagues playing at village level across Kajiado. How about we just elevate this one and bring all these guys together once to play a football match? And so this is how it has happened. This is the 7th edition this time. So it looks at the various leagues, starting from the sub-county league, so the winners of the sub-county league, and then there's the divisional league, and then there's the county champions, and then there are those who, you know what, it's you go graduating.
Yeah.
The winner of the sub-county league now next time plays in the county. The winner of the county now next time plays in the, like that, right? So all those winners are the ones who come and now playing one extravaganza.
It is a beautiful initiative.
It is. It is indeed. The talent on display is very good. And just to imagine that these young boys and girls come from the very remote parts of Kajiado into very dusty villages. But the talent that they display, very good. Extravaganza. Come on Sunday. That's the final.
Okay.
Even you, Waziri. You'll be busy in Nairobi.
Yes.
Sawa, we understand. And that's what we want to talk about.
Because it is just here.
But I'll have that's the last day of my
It's the
festival.
last day of the Nairobi
going.
Festival.
No,
It's gonna
that-
be lit once again. Yeah.
Yes.
Basi ni sawa
Hiyo
kabisa.
ni sawa.
Yeah.
Hayo ni
Tukubali.
sawa, tumekubali.
Asante.
We share.
We'll
Yeah.
share.
Us
But
guys will be in Kajiado
Yeah.
with the football.
Where in Kajiado is it?
Kajiado town.
Kajiado town.
Yes.
There's an exciting one because, it's the same thing we're doing with the Kipaji 47 as part of the build-up to the Nairobi Festival. So we've been, if you must have seen our yellow caravans,
Yes.
from sub-county, ward to ward actually, looking for talent. We did a call-out for talent and that's been, so from today they perform on stage and that's going to be exciting. And whoever wins now will get an award.
Will be crowned on Sunday.
Yeah. So for us, it's building talent. And I like the fact that it's bottom up.
That's very good.
Yeah.
That's very good. It's the same thing. The Kajiado County government is supporting us in the Morans Golden Cup once again this year. Good support. So the person who's speaking is Waziri Dr. Anastasia Nyalita. She is the County Executive Committee member for Inclusivity, Public Participation and Customer Service in the Nairobi City County Government. Waziri, good morning and welcome to the hot seat of the Situation Room.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for having me. I bring greetings from His Excellency, the Governor of Nairobi, Governor Sakaja. Is very excited that we are having this. We're really hyping the Nairobi Festival, the second edition. Yesterday was the first day. It was lit. It was amazing. Yeah. And really, I'm encouraging everybody to come. From 10, gates open. From 11, action starts on stage.
It's daily.
Daily, from yesterday, today, until Sunday.
We'll talk about it in greater detail shortly. First, the day's proverb. Every week, City looks into one African country, picks proverbs from that country, and every day he has a new proverb. This week, he's in Djibouti.
Yes, we are in Djibouti.
And the country has very many things to say about it.
Actually,
the capital of Djibouti
is Djibouti.
is Djibouti.
And they speak French and Arabic, but mostly French. IGAD, headquarters, Djibouti. Meaning, if you want to leave Kenya, it's just you go in the morning, afternoon, you're back in Kenya, and you finish your business.
And you've got it.
Yes. Port city. Very important port city. But that's a story for tomorrow. Today, the proverb, a dog does not mind being called a dog.
Wow.
How do you interpret that proverb, Waziri?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you cannot, what do you call it? You call a spade a spade. Call it for what it is. And value authenticity. For me, it's about authenticity. Yeah. You're Nairobi City, you have your culture. And that's authentic, yeah.
Speaking of that culture, we were asking ourselves earlier, if a friend of yours said, I want to come and visit Nairobi, recommend for me places and things to see and things to do, what would you list? And he said, just give me 5 things.
Are they coming for work?
What are those things? They're coming to Nairobi.
They're coming to Nairobi.
They're coming to visit.
I will be in Nairobi for the next 1 week.
Okay.
What is a must-see, must-do thing for Nairobi?
There's a lot you can do in Nairobi. Really, Nairobi is rich in culture. The urban culture, it's a melting point of, of all cultures. We bring the entire country into one pot. So the things you must see, first of all, of course, we are the only city in the world with a national park within environs. So that's a must visit.
Okay.
You go to the national park and then you ice it with the animal orphanage, and they walk through. There's a walkthrough as well. So that's very important. Yeah. There's a giraffe center. What experience do you need? And then now, if you want to do nature walk, you can you can either go to Gong Hills, you can go to Karura Forest. We have a lot of greenery around. Arboretum as well. Now you'll be surprised, within the city itself, CBD, we have city tours circuits. I have done one myself.
City tour
circuits
within Nairobi City.
Within Nairobi City.
Walk us through this.
I will walk you through the one I have taken so far.
Yes, please.
Since I've just been in the sector for a short while. So the Kanu House, the corner house at near, what do you call this building? Nyao House. That's a cultural heritage on its own. That's currently hosting
the
a lot of
Murumbi
Murumba.
Museum.
That one.
The Joseph Murumbi. Just
Joseph
with the
Murumba.
old DO,
Exactly.
DC office.
That's a Gazette
Nyao
One which is
House.
opposite Kipande House.
Exactly. And now Kipande House as well. It's got its
So
own.
you start at Nyayo House.
Yes.
That museum.
And then you walk along Kenyatta. That's Kenyatta Avenue, yeah?
Yes, it
So on
is.
either side, you'll see Kipande House. You'll see on the side the monuments, the 0 point.
Okay.
Yeah, where distances are measured from in Kenya.
No, Waziri. So let's start. So why am I starting at this Murumba place, the Joseph Murumbi place?
Yeah, and why do
What's
you
important?
want to see a bank?
There's history. The evolution of Nairobi.
So what?
Again, it depends on what you...
No, you've done well with the evolution of Nairobi.
Yes.
Tell us.
Because, yes, when you say, look at how Nairobi started.
Exactly.
Then the walk makes sense.
That one, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So the walk, you go through that. The 0 point, very important, because how do you measure distances in Kenya?
What is the 0 point?
0 point is where distances are measured. So what's the distance between Nairobi and, let's say, Mombasa? So the measurements are taken from this. It's a
That point, that's the 0 point. Where is it?
Where is it?
So there are 2 places. So it's in the Murumba House, the original one, but now at the, what do you call that?
Where the monument? Where?
No. It's next to the
Telposta Towers.
Yeah.
As you're walking down Kenyatta Avenue, Telposta
Exactly.
Towers, and then there's usually a thing there with
At the bus stage.
That orb thing.
Yeah. And there's a lot of those statues that have historic meaning across the city.
Okay.
And then as you go down,
What's the story behind that? Who decided that this is going to be the 0 point?
I guess it's a British.
Okay.
I think it's original, but we need to validate.
There has to be a 0 point.
There has to be,
Let's
yeah.
put it that way.
Yeah.
So that you can actually be sure that when you start from here, there's a point you start
Yeah.
from, and everyone agrees that is the point you start from. Then
Absolutely.
the distances can be authenticated.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So on either side, anyway, of that walk, you have the Macmillan Library. As you go down, you have where the Standard Bank is. You have the Indian Bank. There's a lot of
the Bank of
stories
Baroda.
behind Bank of Baroda. There's a lot of stories, and then now the new Stanley. You remember the first post office? Yeah, the Thorn Tree. Even
So
inside
the Thorn Tree restaurant was the first post office
Yes.
in Kenya.
Yes. in colonial times. Remember where they used to go and if you want to pass a message, you go and stick a message there, then someone comes and da-da-da.
The thorn tree is actually still in the middle of the restaurant right now.
It is, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it is still there.
But there's a thorn tree.
No, the
It is
original
the
one, of
original
course, but
The
they've
original tree
redone.
is still there?
Yeah.
How do you know this?
They've redone it.
They've redone it, but
it's been regrown, but it's still there.
Okay.
And you'll find a bit of that history. But even within the stand itself, I mean, that's where the Queen Elizabeth made her first speech, which was, a lot of stuff. But now you walk down this, there's also archives, National Archives. There's our City Hall, my friend. That is a beautiful place to visit as well. And then you're going to KICC, the helipad, a lot of stuff to see. And then when you're at the helipad. Yes, at KICC, top floor. Okay. Been there. And when you go there, it's not just about, now you see how the city was demarcated. The developed or the banking side or the more commercial side and the downtown. And I mean, it's
Let me
beautiful.
just ask you. So you can book a tour.
Yes.
And go through what
A walking tour. A walking tour, yes.
What you're describing here.
Yes, I have done it. And we have, it's a guided tour. Courtesy of the National Museums.
So who does it? How do you book?
Reach out to us as a Nairobi City County. We will guide you. Reach out to the National Museums. They'll guide you as well, and give you a tour guide who will take you through. So that's one. The other one is we have the historic train. The what do you call it? The engine.
At the Nairobi Railway Museum.
The railway museum. They have a steam engine now.
The choo-choo train.
Choo-choo train, the original thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So. There's an opportunity for it. Okay, currently, we wanted to actually do it during the Nairobi tour, during the International Tourism Day, but unfortunately, it was not functional. But we're going to work together as stakeholders to actually realize it, because you can do a ride through from the museum, through the park to the Heritage House. I mean, imagine that, and imagine what you can do during that ride and what you can do during that ride.
It's lovely.
And many, many more. I mean,
I actually did that train more than 10 years ago. Kenya Railways had redone. They'd brought in the old engineers who worked on the steam engines. They brought them, they actually revived that steam engine, and they were doing tours. So from the railway going down to the African Heritage House in Athi River, or the other one was going all the way to Naivasha. So we did one in Naivasha, and they actually had me and given me some notes. So I was the commentator along this. This is Mount Margaret.
Amazing.
And I don't know the story of Mount Margaret as you're going down to Naivasha and back.
Gifted his wife a mountain.
Okay. Margaret.
There's Mount Margaret somewhere.
I think this is all very...
So you go to the museum and you find that.
Yeah.
I think this is all very interesting in terms of what can be done for Kenyans to get to know a lot more about whether it's cultural heritage or things like that. So I wonder how many Kenyans actually go on these tours, apart from America was, commentating. And I think about the other world famous city tours and what they do. Of course, there's Paris and there's London and there's New York and there's a Cape Town city tour, I think that was just established a few years ago. And Nairobi, for me, is one of those cities on the world map which must. There's so much that's
a lot
rooted right here.
A lot, yes.
Because like when you think of the Paris tour, you don't think much. There's Champs-Elysees, there's Notre Dame, there's the Louvre, all these things that you can go and see, and it is the people of France who are coming from different parts of the country to Paris to see it, because most people don't live in the city.
Yes.
So now I'm imagining where people around the country would be able to come into Nairobi, do a walking tour, do a driven tour, but then get to know about some of these things that happen. Because as you were mentioning them, I thought to myself, wow, okay, that's true. There's a Macmillan Library that's in the middle of town. You don't really think about it when you pass it as a historical thing. You don't think about these other things because you just kind of pass them. Who knew 0 Point was in the middle of the city?
I know. Yeah.
So is this not an opportunity to really vamp up some of these things to make it then available for Kenyans to get to know?
We're on it. My boss just gave me that assignment. So we put together a strategy team to actually look at how can we market Nairobi, using a similar principle or strategy as was used in studying the case of New York City. That's number one. Number two, we have stakeholders that are really excited to work with us. We have the Kenya Tourism Board, we have the Kenya Tourism Fund, we have the Kenya Tourism Promotion Fund, We have the Kenya, which is the other one. Of course, the Research Fund or
National
Research Center,
museums.
the national museums. They've all reached out. We've all reached. I mean, we are working together. But more important is the private sector, because remember, it's the private sector that makes things happen. For us, we are enablers and facilitators. So we're going to work together to really amplify that. Now, already each of them has a plan and a strategy. For example, when we're working very closely with the Kenya Tourism Board, they have a focus on vibrant cities. So we just need to plug in that. And so January is going to happen. But we're not waiting until then. Now, Nairobi Festival is an activation path to that. Because remember, just the other day, Lonely Planets ranked Nairobi #1 city in the world to visit.
And that's the thing. If everybody else is saying Nairobi is the #1 city to visit, and the people of Nairobi cannot tell you, go and see this. I mean, you can't really point, apart from saying, we are the only city with a national park. And then we can't even say, so what do you go and see in the national? Will you see elephants? I don't know. The people don't know what animals are in the national park. It's not clear. There's no website anywhere that helps you in the guiding of the
We're
city.
working on that. Yeah.
Foreigners know more about Nairobi than Kenyans.
Correct. And also, we've sort of bucketed more the wildlife side than all the other. I mean, Nairobi has nightlife, which is really vibrant. Come to the Nairobi Festival, you'll find it there. I mean, last night was lit. During the day, lots of activities you can do. So it is an opportunity for us, and we're taking advantage of that opportunity. We're activating it.
So when?
We have started.
Yeah.
It's a journey. It's a journey. So you achieve as you go. It builds up.
Waziri, for accountability purposes.
Yes.
That's why we're asking this question.
Yeah.
When should we expect to see like the first output of this strategy that you're working on? When are we going to see a new entry to the Murumbi Museum, something more on the Murumbi Museum? People don't even know Murumbi Museum, don't even know Joseph Murumbi.
They don't even know what role he
did.
played. You to say Kipande, I was asking, why do I need to see a back?
You see that building, it doesn't even look old. And you listen at it. This is the oldest building in Nairobi.
I say, really? And so?
It houses ATMs.
No, it doesn't have. No, it's okay. And Kipanda House, yes, of course,
Yeah.
KCB.
You know what I
KCB.
find strange? What I
Yeah.
find strange is that the Nairobi County government is getting into the space that other bodies that are supposed to have gotten into, because when you talk about Kenya Tourism Board, it's Kenya, the entire Kenya.
But tourism is devolved.
Yes, it is devolved.
It is about collaboration. We must work as
we still have a
counties.
Ministry of Tourism, don't we?
We do.
Precisely.
Yes.
So I'm not talking about the current. Nairobi has been there for the longest possible time. Tourism has been there for the longest possible time. How is it now that we're realizing,
We can sell something more than the park.
Yeah. How?
I think we got into a comfort zone because we were always the best. Yeah. Is a realization. But important is the fact that deliberately it was in His Excellency the Governor's manifesto. So we shall actualize that. We've reached out to and it's happening. It's also because it's happening very quietly. And how much have we focused on the local tourists? Because those are the guys who don't know. Like you said, international tourists will tell you much more about Nairobi than local tourists, than Kenyans. So one of the things that also Kenya Tourism Board is doing is destination marketing. So marketing the assets and the tourism perspective in the counties. And we're working together as counties. And that's the idea, to make sure that when you land in Nairobi, or if you land in any one county, let's say you land in Nairobi, depending on how much time you have, you have something to do in Nairobi, you have something to do in the surrounding counties, you have something to do within the country. So that's a collaboration that is in the works.
Okay.
And I'm sure it's going to work.
Again, my question was when this story I started hearing it when Evans Kidero was the governor. He had a minister for tourism. There was a minister for tourism in the next government. And the whole issue of marketing Nairobi as a tourism destination has been a conversation. So finally,
can I tell you what's
as
different?
You're working on this,
Yes.
What are your timelines?
Yes, can I tell you what's different
Yes.
with Honorable His Excellency Honorable Sakaja's government? Historically, tourism was under trade. Yeah?
Yeah.
culture, arts, and heritage was in sports and
youth.
Culture and youth. But he has deliberately put them together, given it a dedicated chief officer, a very experienced chief officer, was called, if you remember, DJ Clement.
Yeah.
And that's a focus for us.
Okay.
So it is deliberate, it is focused, there's a strategy, and there's a very strong team behind it. And that's why if you come to the opening ceremony yesterday yesterday, day one, it was different. And that's because we have a dedicated chief officer, we have a dedicated team that is looking at city culture, arts, and tourism. The other thing is that you cannot separate tourism from culture and arts, because tourism markets what? Culture, arts. Yeah.
Another thing that you can't separate it from then also is infrastructure, because
Absolutely,
now as we look at some of these things, and if you're going to say, and for me, let me take a few steps back. Look at these some of these other countries that we're now starting to compare Nairobi to. If you look at the US, for example, well over 60%, 70% of their tourists are local tourists.
Absolutely, and that's sustainable.
Minimum number come from outside, so they're not even bothered. But what have they done? They made sure that the infrastructure has been set up in such a way that people want to see. People who live in Grand Rapids want to go and see what's happening at the Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco. They want to go and see that because they've made it appealing. Now I'm looking at a situation where Nairobi is punching below its weight because there's certain things that we've just not put in place. One of those is the cleanliness of the city. Infrastructure.
Or do you know that His Excellency the Governor has just employed how many?
Okay,
3,500.
We saw them in the Guru Park.
Please hear me out on this.
I will hear you out.
Because it is not something that can be done once. It's got to be sustainable.
It's not an event.
It is exactly. It's got to be sustained, because what we're saying is that somebody is going to come to Nairobi for business from Kisumu.
Absolutely.
And please note that I'm talking about Kenyans. I'm not talking about people from outside.
Absolutely, yeah.
Somebody's going to come from Kisumu to Nairobi on a Thursday and decides, let me stay here for the weekend and do 1, 2, 3 things, because I believe that was what the target would be eventually. And if there's not easy movability through the city, if you have to walk, if you're going to do a walking tour and you're competing with, hawkers, or you're competing with trash, or you want to do a walking tour and there are no facilities for like washrooms, proper ones that you can use, this is a hamper to that kind of culture tourism that we are talking about. So would these things then work hand in hand, and not employ 3,000 people to clean up the city, but to maintain cleanliness and order over time?
That's a strategy, and that's a plan, and that's what will happen, because even beyond cleaning the city is also the landscaping. That's under one ministry. Yeah.
Waziri,
so it's a long-term strategy. It's not a one-off. It's just that there are those pain points that you must deal with immediately. I mean, for example, for the first time, South Sea never flooded. Yeah, many places did not flood because.
Did it rain in South Sea?
Did it rain in Nairobi? All right, yes. No, but the impact is then it's gonna be big. Yeah.
We are hosting the Nairobi Minister in charge of inclusivity, public participation, and customer service. One of the things that she deals with is city culture, arts, and tourism. She is Dr. Anastasia Nyalita. As the Nairobi Festival is happening this week, we're looking back at, so what is this that is attractive for Nairobi, that makes people want to come to Nairobi, want to visit Nairobi? From Murang'a, from Kapenguria, from Lodwar, from London.
From Loitoktok.
From Loitoktok. Coming here, and you can't tell someone from Loitoktok there's a national park. Boss, we have 2 gates to Amboseli National Park. What? We walk with animals daily. To come and see. I say, what? No. Tell me something else. So for us, it's ile nyumba kubwa inatoka ICC. Now.
There you go.
Sawa.
Yes.
Sawa.
Yeah.
Hiyo ni kubwa.
I can go and do trade in Nairobi. I buy and resell in Loitoktok, for example.
Hiyo nyumba ni kubwa. Nataona matatu. Hiyo ni kubwa.
And matatus that are
We'll
really.
talk about it.
Yeah.
You mentioned matatus and said matatu is part of Nairobi's culture.
Yes.
Explain.
Wow. Where else do you go and you find graffiti on matatus? Music booming on whatever on in the matatus. Yeah, so that is an attraction. And if you remember when the king came, also they did
a
matatu
matatu for.
Yes, yeah.
So that attracts people to come and see this. What is it that someone then notices, apart from the beautiful graffiti, which is lovely art, right? And you look at these matatus and you're like, someone actually did put some good work out of it. What else? What do you notice out of the matatu?
I mean,
do you notice the chaos? Is that part of it, of the selling point?
Is it chaos or is it entertainment?
Okay.
It depends on how you look at it.
How do you look at it?
It's entertainment. It's a beauty.
How?
It's different. It's different.
So the loud music, the blaring horns,
the ride,
breaking of the rules, the speed.
They don't break the rules nowadays, do they?
Oh, yes, they do.
They do. Well, I guess that's part of the culture.
But they're not alone. They've been joined by the picky fellows.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the experience. And you remember it forever. But also look at where they go to, the estates. It's an experience because, they go to every part of a city county, for example. If you want to ride to Gong, if you want to ride to, Buruburu, east, west, in the process you get to see a deeper side of a city rather than just a CBD. Because if you're visiting Nairobi and you see the CBD and you're off, you've not experienced Nairobi. You need to experience the authenticity of a city.
Okay.
Which now the matatu is part of the experiences, and it will take you to those places that you might not be able to go in any other way.
I agree.
Yeah.
Back to the point that Ndu was making, infrastructure.
Yes.
You see, these matatus, then you need to know, if I want to go to Rongai, this is the place that's designated for matatus for Rongai. And that place, if I get there, it's well organized. I can get onto a matatu, and then I can get out of the matatu. I want to go to South Bay, I can cross over to this side, I'll get onto that matatu. Currently, Waziri, you'll agree with me, it's quite chaotic. Under the Thika Superhighway at Globe Cinema Roundabout is a bus stop. All over chaos. At railways, are they still there after the Waziri Musalia Mudavadi moved in? Or are they moved Pigia Waziri Kelele? It's still there. Chaos. I mean,
it's not that bad.
Infrastructure-wise.
Waziri, have you been downtown? Have you been downtown recently?
Yes, I drive around there. That's part of the beauty, but the order will come.
By the way, this is
in fact, the promise by the governor, His Excellency Governor Sakaja, is a city of hope, dignity, hope, and opportunity for all. So that's a journey we're walking.
Order. His campaign was order.
And you've seen the kind of stuff.
Restore order in Nairobi.
Yeah.
Do we have that order being restored in Nairobi? Especially in the public transport sector and in the transport sector.
You see, by the time you create change, Eric, it's not. I mean, you have to, there are many stakeholders involved, so you have to have a lot of conversations and engagements with that, and that's a very strong, collaboration that's been happening, continue to happen, and with time, it's really changing a culture. It's like turning a.
You know what I normally find that makes a job or a challenge easier is to literally walk in the shoes of the problem for 5 minutes. Because then now you have an understanding. I mean, it's so that implementation for you probably then becomes something that you then have. If you were to walk from University of Nairobi down to railways,
yes,
and experience the challenge of navigating, and you're not doing anything. You're not going to stop in a shop and whatever.
Just
you
walking.
are walking from that junction to railways one day and see the different things that you would have to experience. And then, maybe you want to use a washroom somewhere and nobody's going to let you walk into the Thorn Tree restaurant to do that. And see what the city then provides for you. And this is because you have somewhere to go. Now, here we are saying that we want to make it touristy for people.
Yeah.
And we want to say that certain things you'll be able to stop. A walking tour. And this is now where you have somewhere to go. You're going to Macmillan to enter, see, come out. You're going to Bank of Baroda to see what it was. Then you're going to come around and you're going to go to Kipande House. And then you're going to go to this other building at that side.
Morumbi.
Joseph Morumbi.
Then you walk
and
along
see all
there
of
and
this.
get to
Then
Parliament.
you walk along there, get to Parliament, see where the first president was buried and all of that.
Cross
and
over
then
to
you
KICC.
cross over to the other side.
Well, I can see you've done a
KICC.
very nice tour city.
My sister, I've walked in this city and I'm telling you, it is not
She just
fun.
described that nice circuit that
Yes.
everybody wants to experience.
Now, I can even give you some ideas and I'll do it for free. But look, here we are saying that we want to navigate this, and I'm still going to harp on that issue that there's certain things that I feel need to be done.
Yeah.
You don't want to be walking on a cobbled road and then half the cobble is gone. That should be fixed.
There's
you
an
don't want
empty
to see that
ditch in
they're
front of you.
overflowing garbage bins. Those should be
Open
taken care of.
manhole.
Or
Yes.
manholes that you could fall in.
Oh,
and you
man.
have a group of 25 people walking at the same time.
Yeah.
You're 25 and then you look
There's one access to Uhuru Park.
So there are 2 gates. There are actually 4 gates. It's still in the final stages of finalization. So currently, for the festival, for VIPs, they are going through the gate D, which is a gate next to Green Park. Yeah, you know Green Park. This
So that's Haile Selassie
Haile
Avenue.
Selassie, yeah. And then gate A is on opposite Serena, next to the Osens Cathedral. And then we have other gates, on Uhuru Highway. It's a Uhuru Highway, yeah?
Yeah.
But those ones are still, because of the construction of the expressway, the landing from the airport to the CBD, then that's under construction. So currently it's not accessible, but it will be accessible in future. And then we have foot, gates for people on foot. Still, again, on that side of whatever.
So foot traffic is along Uhuru Highway.
Yes. Now, when we fully open, but currently the entrance is on this side of Serena.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Serena and the other, so the VIP side is from Haile Selassie.
For the festival, yes.
Into.
Yeah.
Is Uhuru Park going to be open after Sunday?
Yes. His Excellency the Governor Sakaja has confirmed that it will be open until New Year. In fact, he asked us to ensure that there's, during New Year, there's explosive, serious fireworks. So very exciting. So it's going to be open throughout. It's expected that we will not charge for entry. Of course, for the Nairobi Festival, just to make sure that there's a bit of order, we're charging really minimum fees, 50 shillings for children and 100 shillings for adults. Yeah.
So it's all about, there's a lot of commerce happening.
A
here.
lot.
If one wants to be a vendor now, can they apply, or is it closed out?
It's closed. It's closed, yeah.
Yes.
It's closed, yes. It's closed, yeah. It's closed, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we did that call out almost 4 weeks ago, and there was an overwhelming response. But of course, there's a criteria.
And there are different vendors. There's
Different
food
vendors, the
there's
food,
art,
art, everything, yeah.
apparel
Electronics.
and fashion,
Yeah,
electronics.
and also we have corporates showcasing what they offer, like JTL with their Wi-Fi and stuff. We have actually even the state agencies I'm talking about. They're on site. Kenya Film Corporation. I don't know if you saw during the Climate Summit, we did Cinema Tower. So now those are things that we're bringing on site as well. Yeah, so Kenya Tourism, Keproba, which is about marketing the brand made in Kenya. Yeah, so we have, of course, other corporates as well.
It's a very good thing.
Yeah.
Are those commerce people going to get more support in future? Like, there's been this talk of opening up some streets during some days for commerce.
Absolutely. Again, those are the things lined up for next year.
Those are the plans.
And then a lot of corporates are very excited at partnering with us to activate that. So, and there's a lot you can do in the CBD. Closing some streets either for football, for example, or for cuisine. Indian, Swahili, whatever it is.
Street food is a culture.
It is, yeah.
And Nairobi, we know how to have, chapati madondo and all those things.
Have culture.
It's
Thematic, yeah.
It's
Because we have all the cultures, so depending on what you want as a theme for that particular week and how regularly, so those are things that, will come up in the year.
And then, of course, as a department that's in charge of public participation, I also expect that you have a booth at the Nairobi Festival, where you're engaging with people. If people have questions about Nairobi,
Customer
people have
service,
some concerns. Maybe somebody's thinking, in our area we have not had garbage collected in a long time, or we're having sewer problems, or we're having this and the other, and they're within there, they can come.
Yeah, they can come.
And give you feedback.
But also we, reach out to us through, whichever means, phone, social media. It gets done. It gets action done.
Waziri, thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.